Trump administration continues to go towards being a fascist government. We talked about Trump. He directed his Department of Justice to collect the IP addresses of 1.3 million individuals who were part of a website that organized rallies against him. Now we have another thing, okay? So here we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders. If you don't know, she's the moron who is the press secretary for the administration after the debacle of, Sean Spicer and then Anthony Scaramucci. So if you don't know Jemele Hill, she is an ESPN commentator for sports. I think she's pretty good. I've seen her a few times. She called Trump a white supremacist, which, it's not that much there, because he has had a history of David Duke supporting him, his absolute refusal to ever condemn white supremacy or white supremacists. You know who his appointment for Attorney General is, who's the head of the Department of Justice? It is Jeff Sessions, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, who is not only looks like I think it's the Kebler's brand or something, I don't remember, Keebler's of cookies, but also was the racist, literally the racist. He said that, he was cool with the KKK until he found out that they smoked weed, and also was denied his position as a federal judge. He tried being a federal judge back in the day, but Coretta Scott King, the widow of Martin Luther King Jr., wrote that he should not be a federal judge because of his blatant racism. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders called for the firing of this ESPN host. So what you effectively have here, this is scary shit, okay? You're talking about the government influencing a private company to fire people, not for legitimate reasons. So if somebody murdered someone or something like that, or hypothetically, of course, or did something actually stupid, we could talk about that. But this is just outright crazy, because this isn't something that is, legitimate. This is silencing critics in the media. This is the beginning steps to a fascist government and a dictatorship. Once the media dies out, the transparency dies out. So this is what CNN media says. They earn money. They say ESPN host Jemele Hill's tweet calling President Trump a white supremacist earned a stinging rebuke from Trump's press secretary on Wednesday. From the White House podium, Sarah Sanders said Hill's criticism of the president was, quote, a fireable offense by ESPN. So I actually think that when it comes to news networks and networks like ESPN, I think that they pretty much should be able to fire you for almost any reason. There are, obviously, you can't fire based on race grounds and things like that, but just because of the nature of networks, I think that you should be able to fire people in most cases, just because of the nature of the company and the way it runs and how much it affects, the viewership and all of that different stuff. So I'm not disagreeing that it's a fireable offense. What I think that is the recommendation by the White House for a firing, which would be the silencing of a critic, is extremely dangerous and turning into a fascist government that will lead to a dictatorship. Even Sean Spicer said something like this. We had some leaked, I believe it was audio or some quotes from that we had covered a long time ago. Here's what they say. They say it was a highly unusual moment. A White House official seemingly recommending that a Trump critic be booted from a television network. This is very dangerous and very scary. And, terrorist Don is back at it again. Support independent progressive media by leaving a subscription down below. Leave a like and share the video. Help us out on Patreon, or you can donate in other ways. Links are in the description down below. We are fighting Trump tooth and nail, and we will continue to do so with your help.